Well, good morning. Happy Wednesday. And if you're like me today, you're tired because you stayed up like I did. I don't know what I was expecting. I should have known that it wasn't going to be concluded. So I think it was around 1:30, 2 o'clock, I called it a night. Went to bed, woke up at 5. And still we don't know too much more than I did when I went to bed at 2 o'clock. So anyway, for those that went out and voted, I say kudos to you, no matter which party you voted for. Hopefully this soon too shall pass and we will know who our president is and we can move on. So I apologize in advance if I am a little off kilter and if I mumbled a little bit more than I normally do. So just bear with me, but I do want to update you on some things going on here at Friends Homes. As you can see, fall is upon us. We still have some nice cool mornings and then it warms up, but I've noticed with some of us, allergies and just seasonal changes have been kind of interesting. But as it relates to COVID, we're all on edge because if we start feeling a little off, we automatically think, oh no, is it COVID? For the most part, we're still fortunate. It's just seasonal changes. But both at West and the Guilford campus, we have encountered some additional positive tests from our employees. Thank God, no additional residents. We still believe, and what we find true is that we're not seeing spread. So as you know, we're still doing a lot of testing, especially in our health center, especially around our employees. If we do find a positive, then we extend that to our residents. But we're not seeing spread. So what that means is we feel very strongly that wearing the mask, the additional things we're doing as it relates to disinfecting, hygiene, and what you're doing and your vigilance is paying off. So we're not through the storm. We have seen some relaxing going on here, even at Friends. You've seen we're relaxing a little bit as we try to open up, but we're still trying to be very cautious. So one of the things I will share with you as we go into, one of the things we were looking at doing was opening our dining rooms, although somewhat different. There will be no buffet. It will be all table service, limited seating. So we're going to be going to a reservation type style. The problem with that, as you can imagine, is one, making sure that we're cleaning between people coming in, coming out, training of staff, moving from buffet to table service. We still know that we're going to have a multitude of residents that are still going to opt to eat in their room versus coming to the dining room, which is totally fine. But we don't have any more staff than what we have. So we're trying to figure out how to work that. So where we had some really good intention of opening up the dining rooms probably sooner than later, we're probably going to postpone it just a little bit, really in abundance of caution to make sure that we keep you safe, we keep our staff safe, but we also can handle the logistics. So I believe Alex and Carly actually today are meeting at both campuses and are going over the concept of opening up but the dining rooms on a kind of restricted basis. So stay tuned for that. We are moving in that direction, but we want to make sure that we do it in the safest way possible. So on that same note with COVID, the positive results we've got here lately has impacted our visitation as it relates to our health center. So we're currently not doing visitation inside in our health center unless it's a compassionate care type visit. We're still doing outdoor visits. Hopefully the weather will hold up as long as possible. So please talk to if you have family or loved ones or friends, work with the social workers, work with the activity people within the health center to schedule outdoor visits, things like that. So please continue to remain vigilant. As we talk about vigilance, we're coming upon the holidays. And so I will tell you, we continue to push our staff to be careful, be safe. And there's a lot of pressure, I know, internal pressure to be with loved ones, to be with family. I get it, I understand it, but understand that we don't live in a bubble. And so the exposure that we do, potentially we could be bringing that exposure back to our community, to our family here at Friends Homes. So for me, as an example, for the last 24 years, my wife and I go up to Michigan for Thanksgiving to be with her family. This is the first year in 24 years we're not doing that. We're staying home. And we're not really seeing family. We're doing FaceTime, we're doing Zoom, and it's hard. It's very hard. I understand it. The beautiful thing, if there's anything beautiful about COVID, is that we're all in this. There's nobody that's being treated any different than anyone else. So we're all kind of going through it. So the reason I shared that with you, you are an American, you're independent, and if you do make the choice to be with family, please, please limit your exposure, wear your mask, be careful of physical touch. I know that sounds bad because I know y'all have been vigilant, but we don't know what other people are doing. And not everybody is as vigilant as we've been. And so the last thing I want is people to come back and bring you back to our community. If you do go out, if you will, I ask that when you do come back, and we'll put a letter out about this, that we're going to ask that you really limit and restrict your movement within the community for at least 10 to 14 days, just to ensure that you're not compromised. So more to come on that, but I will ask for continued vigilance. On that same note, vaccine, you know, depending on who you listen to, vaccine is forthcoming. One of the things we've already done is we're working with a pharmacy company. It's actually the pharmacy company we use here is Neil Medical, to put us on their vendor list to supply the vaccine. They do have approval once it comes out and it's distributed both for independent living as well as our health center. So don't have formal dates on that, but again, I think if anything, it's a positive that we're moving forward in that direction. So please continue to be careful and remain vigilant. So I want to talk a little bit about what's going on. I've already shared about our dining program, but I want to share a little bit more both in West and Guilford. One of the things that was brought to my attention probably about 3 weeks to a month ago is that with our dining program for our current residents, each resident under our current contract has a meal allotment, and those meals are put on your account at the beginning of the month, and it's per individual. So I had a resident who is a husband and his wife, they have 2 accounts. And what they have found is that whether the mistake or otherwise, that sometimes he might come down and pick up a meal for him and his wife, and both those meals get charged to his account. So he finds himself at the end of the month out of meals where his wife still has meals. And then if he goes and picks up a meal, if they charge him, then he actually is getting charged on his bill, and it's just a big mess. So we reached out to the company that's handling our retail tracker, our badge system, and what we found out is that we can consolidate couples. So what that means is that if you are together in your apartment, we can put your total number of meals on one account. So whether you use the husband's badge or the wife's badge, it's all the same number. So if you get a meal per day, and it's the month of November, so you get 30 meals and your spouse gets 30 meals. So in total, between the 2 of you, you get 60 meals. So and sometime in early December, hopefully December 1st, we're going to change our program so that couples will be seen as one. If you want to opt out of that and keep it separate, that would be your choice. We'll do a separate letter to those that are couples so they can opt out if they choose, but we think that will hopefully alleviate some of the headache that we've been seeing related to that. Another thing about dining that's coming down the pipeline, I've been talking about this probably for a while, but really COVID has kind of put it in hyperdrive, if you will. The concept of a buffet is going away for a lot of reasons. Hygiene, just a lot of different reasons. So one of the things we're looking at doing with reopening dining rooms is we're going to table service. We suspect, and are working toward that this is going to be the new norm. Even when COVID goes away, we will be doing table service. With that concept, what we're doing, another thing I've heard both at West and Guilford, and I don't have enough time on a Zoom call to get into the concept of what buffet means. A buffet really allows you choice, a wide variety of choice. But there are a handful of people that want to take food out of the dining room because they paid for it. And that's technically not what a buffet is. A buffet is you go in, you pay one price, and you eat as much as you want, but you don't take anything out. But what I've heard from a lot of residents is that, you know, it's a lot of food, and they would want the option of being able to take food out. So one of the things that we're moving toward and we're talking about is moving to an a la carte pricing across the board for both West and Guilford. What this means is that when you go in and you buy your food, you're buying your food. And so then if you don't finish that food, you can take it home with you. And so we're still working out some kinks. We're going to work with the resident board and the dining committee over the next couple months about trying to fine tune some things. But I want to kind of let you hear about this now so you can start processing and thinking about it, letting us know what kind of questions, concerns you may have. So if this works out, we're looking at probably around April 1st. We do believe by moving to an a la carte type style, it's going to give you more choice, and it's going to empower you more to be able to handle your dining program as you see fit. So we're very excited about this opportunity, and more to come. Again, working with the dining committee primarily, and then running through the resident board, and then sharing it with our resident council. So that's kind of the game plan of the communication. Another thing that we're excited about that we're really looking into is this concept of being able to do real-time surveys. There's a program out there called SurveyMonkey. It's very user-friendly, and it can be used for a multitude of things. But one of the things that you know, most of us have heard, you know, squeaky wheel gets the grease. If you yell loud enough, you know, you'll get the attention. But there's a lot of us here at Friends Homes that are not loud, and they have opinions, but they don't really speak up, or they're okay with how things are going. And sometimes if someone's loud, we tend to think they represent a majority of people, and we make changes because of that. And then what we find is then we just upset someone else. So with SurveyMonkey, one of the things we're hoping to do with this tool is to allow us to truly in real time get feedback from you, to know what you like, what you don't like, what you like to see more of. And this goes across the board, both from a dining perspective, from a activities perspective. So if Wanda and Amy in activities does a program, we can have these kiosks, or you can do it through Care Merge potentially. We can have these kiosks located in various places around the community, and we can do a SurveyMonkey to say, hey, did you like the speaker that came in last Tuesday? Rate it. Would you like to see them again? And then we can get real data that supports whether this is what you want. This is your home. So when you think about how our housekeeping services, our maintenance services, our dining services, our activities, our wellness services, we're very excited about this because it's going to give all of us a voice so that we're actually looking at what the whole group feels about something. So more to come on that, but we've been really researching that over the last several weeks and months, and so we're very excited about what we think that will allow us to make sure we're not chasing our tail to meet your needs and your expectations. So I talked a little bit in that conversation about some housekeeping, and so with housekeeping, what I'm hearing for the most part is that the rollout went fairly well as it relates to our monthly cleaning. We're in November now, so we're starting again. Continue to provide feedback. I've heard from several residents, how is your housekeeping staff? It seems like they're working extremely hard, and they are. They are working very hard. And a lot of it goes to their work ethic. These are very caring, loving people. They want to do a good job for you, the resident, but they also want to do a good job just out of their own pride. And so they're learning a new process. It's a new experience. And you remember when you went to school or you're learning something new, it's tough. You're tired. You're using that front part of your brain. So they are working very hard, but just like everything in life, once you get into a routine, you learn the routine, you get settled, then it becomes a habit and the process gets a lot easier. So we suspect over the next 2 to 3 to 4 months that we will start kind of seeing a leveling out as far as from a staff and everything else, and then we'll get into a new norm. Continue to give feedback to Daryl, who's our director of environmental services, and Bernadette and Barbara, who's our housekeeping supervisors. Bernadette's at West, Barbara's at Guilford. But so far, so good. We'll continue to tweak as needed. But over these next several months, we're just letting the housekeeping team and the floor techs get used to this new process before we make any more changes that some of the residents are asking for. So continue to be patient with us on that. As far as maintenance, we still have a lot going on as it relates to maintenance at both campuses. One of the things that we're doing on the Guilford campus, we're still having to paint the back Fox. That will be happening soon. We're looking at pressure washing hobs, also potentially painting hobs. We're kind of evaluating that now. On the West campus, they're finishing up the painting of the balcony floors and the side there where the new railings went in. We're also still waiting on the solar panels to come down, really at both campuses. We finally got word from the people that will be removing the panels off of the Woolman and Fox building. So we're trying to get that scheduled. And once that's completed, then we're going to quickly go into doing some roof repair for both of those buildings. One of the things I will point out that's really happened more at the Guilford campus, when they brought in the lift to do the painting, we have some concrete sidewalks that have been cracked, and because we're going to be doing roof work and things like that, we're not repairing those at this time because we're going to have these lifts again when we do the roofs, and so you're just kind of chasing yourself. So we'll try to put markers out where sidewalks are cracked, but just be alert as you're walking down the paths for uneven cracks, things like that. But we're going to wait till our entire project is done. Otherwise, we're just going to keep replacing things because equipment coming in is extremely heavy, as you can imagine. At West, we're also we're trying to finish up the carpet project. It's been on and off for several years. Ceiling tiles, continuing with the HVAC project as you're aware of. So very excited about that. Both at the West and Guilford project, we're looking, now we're pretty much becoming a very secured community where we have not only cameras, but we have automatic door openers or badge access. So we're going to be disengaging at a point in time the key access. So at West, all the exterior doors are now generator backup. So if the power goes out, generator kick on, your badge should still work. So we'll be disengaging here probably within the next 4 to 6 weeks the keys that allow people to get in. And I'm talking about the physical key. Same thing going over here at Guilford. There's a multitude of people that have keys. We'll be disengaging those locks once we finally feel that we have all of our badge readers working and they're on generator backup. So that might be a little bit more delayed because it's a little bit more tedious. Some of the new door access badges that they've been putting over here at Guilford are a little bit of bigger panel, and you actually have to place your badge dead center. There's actually a little emblem that you can't see because it's black on black, but you have to put it dead center. So a lot of people are thinking their badge is not working. So the one that's in particular that we're having the most issue with as you're coming down like the woman courtyard, if you will, and you go in toward the dining room, that badge reader that's right outside the door that goes to the dining room kind of corridor, it's a pretty big pad. And so I did it myself. I'm touching the top, I'm touching the bottom, and the door's not opening. I'm thinking I'm fired. They've cut my badge off. But if it's right in the center. So we're working with the door people to see if we can improve the sensitivity on that. We also, I think, have 1 or 2 other doors we're working on at Guilford that hopefully they're waiting on a part or 2 that will be resolved hopefully fairly soon. Spectrum, internet, we're still working with them. It's tedious, it's frustrating. We actually have a meeting with another provider called Viacom, who we're going to be using for our expansion. And we still have 2 more years with Spectrum, but we are continuing working with them on trying to improve our internet. I think I've shared with you last time, we're also looking at going to native phone numbers, which means that numbers will hold to the individual apartment. So if you are, whatever number you have now is the number you have in your apartment. If you move to assisted living, there will be a different number because it'd be to that apartment, if you will, and same thing as skilled nursing, there'll be a separate number. The primary reason for this is that it is almost impossible to get numbers changed and transferred in a timely fashion. We're having billing issues for the residents, we're having service cut off, and this has been the resolution to get around that. So more to come on that, but that's kind of working with Spectrum as it relates to that. So in a nutshell, even though we're in COVID, there's still a lot going on. The board's most recent approval of the budget, I might have mentioned this last time, has about almost $3 million of capital items, not related to construction, totally separate from construction, between West and Guilford. Whether we're doing HVAC, whether we're doing roofs, whether we're doing apartment refurbishments, you name it. We have about $3 million worth of work is going on here at Friends Homes West and Guilford in our existing buildings. So we're very excited about that. It's a lot of work to get that done, especially with the restrictions. But one of the things that we've been talking about internally is trying to improve our, if you will, our work order system. So right now at the Guilford campus, Ashlyn, who's Rick's primary assistant, takes in work orders. As you know, Sheila takes in work orders. If you call Whittier, sometimes they'll do work orders. But if you think about between environmental services, grounds, maintenance, guest lodging, transportation, there's a lot of comments or a lot of calls coming in for that. And so one of the things we were looking at over at West, it's Rose. And so if you live at West and you know Rose is awesome. Rose has a lot going on. She is front and center. She is the main contact for the residents. So she takes work orders, she follows up, but it's a lot on Rose. So one of the things we've been talking about is how do we potentially establish, really, because we've grown big enough to do this, that we can have a person that's all they do is handle work orders. And when they look at those work orders, they're managing the work orders. They're not doing the work, but they're managing it. So they know what's going on. They're able to articulate, here's where this project is, this. And so in turn, they can communicate with Missy and Donna. So then we can communicate with you so that we know where we are, we know time frames. It would also improve when we have our building and facilities meetings with the residents. We have more up-to-date information. So we're excited about looking at opportunity to fine-tune a way to better monitor the multitude of work orders and projects we have going on across all departments. So more to come on that, but very excited. So that's another little project that we're working on. With that being said, I made a comment at Guilford. Sheila, who's our receptionist here at Guilford, she's actually on medical leave. She's having a little surgery, but she's going to be out for probably about 12 weeks, 8 to 12 weeks. And so we have one of our security officers, her name is Charlie, and Charlie's going to be filling in for Sheila while she's out. So if you have an opportunity, Guilford, stop by, say hello to Charlie. She's only been here 2 days. And already I can tell you she's an awesome person, great personality, and I hear her talking to the residents all the time. So if you get a chance, stop by and say hello. Say hello to Charlie. Sheila's gonna be fine. It's not a major surgery, and so but keep her in your prayers as she goes through this process and recovers. So that's it on work orders. So on activities, wellness, resident services, care merge. Sometimes we'll use the word screen cloud, continuing to fine tune how we utilize that product to push it out to our residents. That's our in-house channel, but it's so much more than that. CareMerge is a program that's internet-based, and I know a lot of us are not techie, but trust me, you want to become techie because there's going to be so much that we can do with CareMerge as it relates to knowing what's going on in our community, ways to communicate, whether it's with staff, residents, each other. It doesn't matter. It's just a multitude of ways that can empower you to be in the know, if you will. So one of the things that Dorian, who's our director of Life Enrichment, is working on is trying to look at our newsletter and our weekly updates. And so how do we fine tune that so that we can make it, again, user-friendly, very informative, but also makes you aware not what's going on at your campus, but also the sister campus. Because what we're hoping for after COVID goes away is that we can start bringing the two together to participate in programming. Because sometimes I'll be at West and we'll be doing some programming pre-COVID. Some program like, man, the Guilford residents will love this. And same thing, I'll be at Guilford and Wanda will be doing something like, oh my gosh, the West residents would love this. So how do we let you know about that? So if you want to enjoy that, participate in that. So the way you do that is through this program called CareMerge, which we're still kind of working on, learning about. And the other way we do that is we enhance our newsletter to bring you more information, more details about what's going on at Friends Homes. So as from a construction standpoint, things are progressing. I might have shared this last time. I've learned a lot about wet soil. I've learned a lot about rain, and in Greensboro, you never complain about rain. I'm complaining about rain because rain means the project stops. So one of the things on the Guilford campus is we're hopeful that our parking lot has been impacted. We lost a lot of spaces. I'll tell you, the residents, y'all have been troopers. Staff have done a great job. Construction people are complaining, or our contractors are complaining because they have to walk so far. But for the most part, it's working. But we were hopeful that the first part of January, we will have our parking spaces back to us. The rain has caused a little bit of a delay, so it's going to probably push us a little bit more into the middle of January. But for the most part, construction is moving forward. You can see some of the pads at the Guilford campus are being laid now. I think our first home will be actually ready to move into next April or May. At the West campus, you see a lot of work going on at the farm, around the bridge. The Wellness Center, we hit wet soil, which kind of delayed some things. We're trying to figure out how to work around that, but project is moving forward. At the Guilford campus, because of the parking lot being torn up, we also had to cut some lines that took out our parking lot lights. So we're working on ways to put some temporary lighting now with the time change so that the parking lot can be lit up. It's a process. So we're hopeful that because we don't think lighting is going to be reestablished probably until February, March. So we're trying to find some short-term resolutions to the lights that have been turned off. Okay, I think that's it for construction. I will tell you, on the Guilford campus, the gazebo, as you know, is coming down as part of the construction. We will be putting in a new gazebo once the new parking lot is open, so we're working on that. It's an open air gazebo, so that it won't have the rails necessarily around it, so that you can spread out if the weather's nice. It'll have electricity, lights, things like that. So it's going to be almost in the same place a little bit. If your back's to Woolman, it's going to be a little bit more to your right, but there'll be no ramp. It's going to be ADA accessible, so there'll be sidewalks leading to it, and it's going to be, again, open air. So hopefully that will be installed sometime around February or March of next year. So again, I think I talked about voting. I'm going to move from voting and tell you now, I'm going to encourage you to look at your health insurance. So we're in open enrollment, as you know, and what open enrollment is an opportunity to evaluate your current health insurance plan and to determine whether or not it is meeting your needs and whether or not you need a change. So if you have any doubts, please reach out to Gail here on the Guilford campus. She's very good about letting you know what was covered, what plans we accept and we have a relationship with. But my main point that I'd like to talk to you about is this concept: if you have anything other than traditional Medicare, and I call it a replacement plan, some people call it Medicare Advantage, but there are choices, and there's called an HMO and a PPO. HMO is usually cheaper, but what an HMO does means you can only go to their providers that they approved. And so what I find time and time again, is that people pick an HMO for two reasons. One, it's cheaper, and two, their doctors are in the plan. But here's the main thing you need to understand. That plan can change, and it can change mid-year. Doctors can come in a plan and go out of a plan. Or here's another thing, and this is the worst case, maybe you're healthy. Maybe you don't have heart issues today, but next March, April, you do have heart issues. And your primary says, I want you to go see blah, blah, blah. And they're with LeBauer. And you go, okay, that's the doctor. That's who I want to go see. And you look it up, and guess what? That doctor is not in the HMO plan. You're stuck. You are stuck. So what I tell people is, if you have a choice, spend the money and get a PPO plan. A PPO plan, you still have preferred providers, right? Those are people they want you to go to, and usually you might get a lower copay or something like that, deductible. But a PPO allows you to go outside of that preferred provider network, if you will, and allows you to go to other doctors and not make you pay 100%. So I won't say any more because I'm not an expert on this, other than please hear me. At least look into moving from if you have an HMO, at least inquiring about going to a PPO just for choice, because your health is important and having choice is very important. So I'll get off my soapbox, but that's my 2 cents on that. All right, we're wrapping it up. So my last thing I kind of want to talk about is gratitude and appreciation and thanks. So much is going on, and in a lot of ways we have a lot of reasons to complain, right? COVID, anything you might have had planned for 2020, hopes, dreams, aspirations, COVID has messed that up to the extreme. I did say we're all going through it, so that's a good thing. I mean, I do believe from a community standpoint, I mean, we can kind of rely on each other and support each other because we're all going through this. But what I have seen, and definitely don't want to go down the religious part about this because everybody's different. But, we're here to take care of our brothers and sisters. I truly believe that. We're called not to be about ourselves. It's about taking care of others, right? Taking care of our family. And I know we do that. But I want to talk about what I'm seeing as it relates to Friends Homes. And this is only Friends Homes. I know what you must be doing outside of Friends Homes. I can't imagine how you are giving from your resources to support those that are less fortunate or those that are in need, or trying to help maybe the university or college you went to, or your church, or your meeting, or this other, any nonprofit, whatever. But we're all doing so much to help those that are less fortunate. But here, friends, I want to talk about a couple things. The annual giving campaign is still phenomenal. We have a goal of $111,000. $111,000. I don't have the most updated number, and I don't want to lie to you. Let me see if I got a text. I do not. I don't have the most updated number, but we are way on our way to meeting that goal. And it's thanks to you. It's thanks to our staff. I told you, I think this last month, we had a staff member that gave pretty much a $2,500 challenge to the leadership team, not only here at Friends Homes, but even Presbyterian Homes, that they will match up to $200, a total of $2,500 a give. So we can almost $5,000 to go to the annual giving campaign that supports residents' financial assistance, which is something Friends Homes has embraced as part of our mission. So thank you. I love how I see y'all when y'all, even if you give in memory or honor someone, you're doing that, but you're also giving it to annual giving. So you're almost getting a double dip. You're supporting the annual giving campaign, which is supporting the residents' financial assistance, and you're also honoring someone or memorizing someone. So thank you for that. The other thing that we just did last week, if you recall, about a year or two ago, we started a legacy circle. It's called Friends of Friends Homes. So what we heard from you, some of you, was that, I care so much about Friends Homes. It's my home. I believe in its mission. When I go on, I like to leave something to friends to continue the mission, to support the mission. How do I do that? So we created this legacy circle for people that want to leave Friends Homes as part of their estate planning. And within 2 years, I think the number, we're up to 6, 7 people that have already named Friends Homes as part of their estate planning. And so we had an event last week to honor those people that have named us in their estate. Tim Webster came in. We had some board members come in to meet with them, just talk about what's going on at Friends, but talk about their gift of giving and what it does for beyond their life, how that gift keeps on. And I will still tell you, if you have any interest in this or learning more about this, let me know, or Sarah Barker know, who supports Friends Homes for Development. But I've been so amazed and impressed how many people want to continue giving a gift even after they have left this earth. So for them, I say thank you. For those that are considering it, I say thank you. The Crop Walk. This is so resident-led, both at the West and Guilford campus. I look at what y'all done, the money you raised. We're one of the, my understanding is we're one of the biggest supporters within Greensboro for the Crop Walk. And it's something that Friends Homes has embraced as part of who we are and what we do to give back. So just even this year, yet again, y'all met the expectation and you exceeded it. The capital campaign. So, again, we're in this silent phase. Don't tell anybody. But we just wrapped up our board solicitation. We had a very generous challenge gift from Mary and Charlie Roof, really dedicated to our board, to challenge them to step up and do more, and they did it. They came in. We're reaching out to some additional people, and then eventually, starting in 21, we're going to go to a public phase where we're going to open up the campaign to everyone. And the public, just remember about this capital campaign, Bridges to the Future. It's really kind of twofold. It's a physical supporting the actual bridge connector that we're building that's going to connect our two campuses. As Friends Homes, it's connecting the two campuses, bringing us closer together. So that's one bridge. The other bridge is we are setting up an endowment, a true endowment for residents' financial assistance. And it's a Friends Homes Residents Financial Assistance Endowment. All monies that go to this endowment will be permanently protected, and the earnings from that will then be, I hate to use the word siphoned off, will be drawn down to support residents' financial assistance. We're very excited about that. So again, bridging that mission, bridging that long-term support of taking care of our residents. So any money going to the capital campaign, 80% is going to go to supporting the physical bridge, and 20% is going to go to supporting the endowment. More to come on that. Again, we're in the silent phase, but I've been just so impressed seeing what people are doing and how much they believe in Friends Homes and want to support this mission, not only today, but for the future. And last but not least, the Employee Appreciation Fund. I know West is right now, they're going gangbuster trying to raise money for the Employee Appreciation Fund. I think it ends in November. Guilford finished theirs. With everything going on, they raised more money this year than I understand they've ever raised. Over $62,000 was raised for employee appreciation at Friends Homes Guilford. So thank you, Wes. Thank you for what you're doing. When we gave this money, again, this money goes directly. So Friends Homes covers the employer-employee FICA. So literally every dollar you give goes directly to our employees. None of it goes to the leadership team. None of it goes to contractors. It goes to our employees, every dollar. So please contribute. Please support. what the employees have done this year, what they do all the time, but this year in particular, above and beyond, above and beyond. So as I wrap up, I say thank you. It's November. My wife's birthday is on November 26th, and that's also Thanksgiving Day. So I have multiple reasons. That's another reason why it's very hard we're not going to Michigan this year. It's her birthday on Thanksgiving, and she was born on Thanksgiving Day. So very sentimental, especially for her mom, for us not being there. But again, safety is it's utmost importance for us. But in this time of Thanksgiving, as we go into the holidays, I would like to say thank you. Thank you for being part of this family. Thank you for all that you have done, both protecting yourself, protecting this community, the things you've done for supporting this community, not only with you, whether you're volunteering, your financial support, your even though I can't see you because you got your mask on, your smiles, your words of encouragement. Thank you. We as a community have been and will continue to get through this together. God bless you. Enjoy the day, enjoy the fall weather, and I will talk to you soon.